Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to speak about the subject of, are we really alone in the universe? It's such a big universe. There's more planets and galaxies than all the grains of sand from all the beaches all over the world. And yet, we still haven't found other life on other planets. But we have figured out many things. That even though we need to breathe air, there are other creatures that are more on the microscopic scale that live in very torrid regions of Earth where maybe they live really deep in the ocean and where there's so much pressure that we would basically die as human beings. We found life in the most hot places of volcanoes. We found life in places where there's so much CO2 that we would not be able to live. So it seems like life is very adaptable as long as you have the right ingredients to create it. And the ingredients always are very similar. It's just that they are made more efficient according to the type of life that is surrounding us. So we have developed the fact of being able to breathe in this kind of way because, well, we have air. But in the same way, fish breathe air too. They're not breathing water, but they found a way through their gills and all that stuff and through evolution to be able to breathe within the sea. And that's very interesting because we know that things can be so different, yet it seems that really within all the creatures, all the ants and all these things, well, depending on the fact if you're mammal or reptilian, all that stuff, a reptile, or depending on the type of creature that you are, if you're an insect, for example, for the example of humans, well, we have 2 arms, 5 fingers on each hand, 2 eyes. We have the same number of limbs and all that stuff within all cross-cultured mammals and all that stuff. So basically it kind of proves that even within different animals of the same family, well, there are enormous similarities. It kind of goes the same way when you think about life. Are we really alone in the universe? Well, if there are so many planets, which are literally billions and billions of billions, and you just need to have the sun at the right position, a moon, and a planet that is about our size, could be bigger because actually it depends also on where the sun is, but as long as you have those ingredients, then you're able to basically create life. And it'll kind of like a slot machine in a casino. You pull the lever many times, you try different combinations, and eventually something will strike. And that's where it's very interesting, really, because you think of it as chaotic randomness that needs certain type of recipes in order to work. And it's not because we evolved this way, where the cognitive side, where the fact that we are able to have a consciousness has evolved, that other planets have that same thing, or the fact that we are multicellular and stuff like that, because maybe in the beginning, either way, it was unicellular, it was microscopic, it was more efficient that way. Then it became multicellular, it became huge. We had dinosaurs and all these things. Everything was big. And then the way that the oxygen and all that stuff evolved, the efficiency was in the fact that smaller creatures could live better. So we evolved into smaller creatures. And also in that way, we needed less food in order to survive, because a big elephant or a big dinosaur, well, it needs a lot of matter in order to keep that body running. A lot of fuel basically. So if there were to be another planet, first of all, the universe is billions and billions of years old. At the same time, we started evolving at a specific time where the energy, where the volcanoes, where basically all that heat cooled off in some way. And it doesn't mean that some other planet maybe is cooling off at this moment, or maybe that some other planet started its life, started its evolution in a habitable place a long, long time ago. That's why when you think of stories kind of like Star Wars, where they say in a galaxy far, far away, in a long time ago, well, it's kind of interesting because it's true. Some other population, some other civilization could have lived billions of years before us, and they could have evolved much faster than us. And other ones maybe are evolving slower than us. And at the same time, it's just kind of interesting to think of it that way. And we, under certain circumstances, have evolved again with the cognitive side, with that knowledge. And we are lucky too that we live on a planet that has so many different kind of resources that have made us able to have electricity and gasoline and many different things that basically allow us to live very comfortably with trees and all that stuff. But it doesn't mean because other planets have life that they necessarily have as many resources as us. They might actually be less fortunate, or they might even be more fortunate. Who knows? Because in this world, we just never know. So that's why I'm saying that the evolution can have changed drastically, and the fact that they may be able to live, let's say, in a planet filled with methane gas or temperatures of up to 1,000 degrees, it doesn't mean that we would be able to live on that planet. There's, for example, one of the little moons up there called Europa, where they say that it could have life because it's a planet kind of made out of ice. So usually when there's ice, well, even though the permafrost might be very, very thick, eventually, if we go deep enough, it should technically be water. And if there's water, well, then that means that, well, there should be life. But that's on the condition that there are other ingredients that can let you have life at the same time. But probably if it's very dark down there and stuff like that, well, their eyes won't have evolved in the same way. Their ears won't have evolved in their same way. But other things might have evolved, and they might be living in a completely different style as us. And who knows, maybe they did develop light on their body and they have eyes that can see. Who knows? We'd have to actually go there. But the fact is that the numbers are basically on our side. We may not know that there's other life in other places, but definitely if we take into consideration the numbers, well, it's pretty much guaranteed that there is life. It's just that maybe it might not be as complex as us, or it might not be as big, or even as small, because there might be even bigger creatures. Who knows? But I just think it's interesting. It's good to kind of know, to read about these things, and to dream a little bit too. And I'm pretty sure that at some point in our life, or in somebody else's life in some way, but at least in the history of mankind, we will find some sort of bacteria or other kind of thing that lives on a planet probably not too far away from ours, be it Mars, be it even maybe on the moon, stuff like that. But that's it. That's all I have to say. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.